Hi, this is John Hawkins with Gateway Counseling Center. This is our weekly YouTube live. We do this every Tuesday night at 7:15. I'm a licensed psychotherapist here in South Florida. We have a full-service counseling center in Boynton Beach, Florida, where we do individual, couple, and family counseling. I myself specialize in all types of trauma, PTSD, addictions, relationships, and I also do performance work with entrepreneurs, athletes, things like that, helping people hit their peak performance levels and break through some of the blocks to their ultimate success. So we do this every Tuesday night at 7:15 to just provide a service to the community, answer questions that come in throughout the week or anything live that you want to send in to me right now as I'm talking. I'll answer any of those. You can reach me throughout the week at jonh@gatewaycounseling.com. We also have a Facebook page, Gateway Counseling Center, YouTube, Gateway Center. Gateway Counseling on YouTube, on Instagram, Gateway Center, and the Mind Zone group on Facebook. So if you want to get us at any of those formats or platforms, access us there, put any questions, comments you have, and respond to everything as it comes in throughout the week. And anything that you feel is beneficial, helpful to you, that somebody else wants to know, please, tag, forward anything that could benefit others. We just want to impact and help as many people as we can. So one of the things this week, I got a lot of questions on depression. And in my opinion, things like depression, anxiety, I know are classified for people as disorders. But I think my opinion is that are not disorders, but they're manifestations of other things, most frequently forms of trauma. And so I think I would title my talk tonight, Your Depression Might Not Be Depression. Or, these symptoms, for me, it's more beneficial to look at things in terms of symptoms. The mental health community will do a lot around identifying symptoms and coming up with strategies to suppress those symptoms. But in my opinion, a lot of times it's not focused sufficiently on resolving those symptoms. So that's what we really try to do here in our work with people, is really get to the core issues of why they continue to have these things. And so a lot of these things aren't depression. They just get labeled as that, like I'm depressed. But let's say if you have grief, that is not depression. That's a normal response to loss. It could be loss of a person you love. It could be loss of a career, loss of a dream, loss of an era of your life are going to bring up feelings of grief. So these losses have to be grieved. It doesn't necessarily mean you're depressed, but you're grieving. So it's not pathological. It's abnormal. It's not something you want to go take a medication for or try to suppress, because you need to feel these feelings through to really fully grieve and release from that. Now, if that grief starts to become intense enough or heavy enough where you can't function and it's impeding your daily living, that's a different story. Now the grief is overwhelming you. I would still not call it strictly depression, but it's dysregulated. It's like it's too intense. I need some resources to help me deal with this grief. You might have shame. A lot of depression is shame-based and dissociative-based. And so shame is a really, intense feeling on the nervous system. It really suppress you and shut you down and will make you feel depressed, So it's really, again, looking at the cause of where my symptom is coming from, where these, feelings that I'm having, but it's really like our difficulty and inability to regulate certain emotions that drive so much of this. I'm not saying there's never chemical imbalances, but they never exist in isolation. Even when I worked with severe mental illness at a hospital where I did my internship and my first job in the field as a therapist, it's never that simple. It was never just, oh, you have this, take this, and that's a big problem in my field and industry, is there's so much focus, like I said, on just treating the symptom without treating the person and getting to the bottom. And then people are put on all kinds of medications, too many medications, side effects between medications, cross effects between medications. And like, let's say in the case of the first example I used, grief, where somebody has a normal reaction to the loss of somebody. And so then just to give them anti-anxiety medications or the antidepressants when they need support grieving this loss, like I said, so that's not depression. Or if their depression symptoms, which is the more appropriate word for me, are coming from shame or kind of a shutdown, like a helplessness. We know that when the brain deems that nothing we do is going to matter or impact the circumstances that we're in, that we'll go into this dissociative shutdown. And so a lot of times that combines with shame. You know, let's say as a child, I got criticized, shamed, neglected in some form. And so that, and I didn't get help with dealing with those feelings. So my brain kind of shut down and started to dissociate from those feelings. Now as an adult, I can get that triggered, and that'll really shut me down. And if I just get the symptom treated again, I know I'm kind of being redundant with that, but I can't tell you how much like my field is dedicated to doing that. Is I don't really get help with the underlying shame that's kind of still frozen in my memory system and my neurology to help me release that shame and get out of that disassociation and achieve that. So those are the things. Again, sorry if I think we got a little disruption there. You know, looking at the cause. So if you have depressive symptoms, really take the time to, you know, whether it's reflect with friends, family, someone like myself. Don't just think it as straight like, oh, I'm depressed. Because like I said, it's just, I'm depressed, let me go to the doctor, let me get medication. I can tell you that's not the solution to your problems. If somebody has overwhelming feelings that they can't regulate and they're getting so shut down and their mental state is getting to a point, you know, medication can be an intervention to help stabilize them, but not, you know, as the long-term solution to the problem. And there would be those in my field that would argue against me. I'm just telling you, after working with several thousand people, this is what I see as at the core issue. It's like dysregulated emotions in the nervous system that lead to these kind of symptoms that we call anxiety and depression, label them disorders. But there's really ways to get to the bottom of these things and work through them and resolve them. Sometimes somebody needs to get stabilized, like I said, temporarily, so I can do that work with them. But the long-term solution to just take pills. I mean, I'm working with numerous clients now that at earlier points in their life, whether it was early 20s or different times in adolescence, where they got overwhelmed with these feelings. They never got help processing and resolving them, making sense of it to this new reality they experienced. And it just led to this pattern where it looks like this history of depression, but it's really being driven by this history of never getting help with these feelings. And so now as we're doing that and we're working through that and resolving that, these depressive symptoms are lifting and going away, and they're getting more connected and finding more energy, more meaning in life. So remember, your depression may not be depression, but a normal reaction to life circumstances. So if you did find this helpful tonight, please share it with anyone. Again, you can reach me throughout the week, jonh@gatewaycounseling.com. Any of the other formats, Instagram, we have Gateway Center, YouTube, Gateway Counseling Center channel, Gateway Counseling Center on Facebook, or the Mind Zone group on Facebook. And we'd be happy to respond to anything that you send in for us that we can help you and help the community as well there. So have a great week as always. Always enjoy answering any questions you have. Keep them coming, and I will share them with you every Tuesday night at 7:15. All right, have a great week.